Welcome. I am so glad you're joining us for this deep dive today. Let's start by having you picture something for a second.
Always a good way to start.
Right. So think about the CRM software you use at work right now. If you're like most people, logging into that system probably feels less like, stepping into the future and a lot more like opening up a giant glorified digital filing cabinet.
Yeah, that is incredibly accurate.
It just sits there on your screen demanding constant manual data entry. You just keep feeding it contacts.
Deal statuses.
Exactly. Deal statuses, scattered call notes. It often feels like a chore that takes you away from your actual job, right?
It's the universal frustration of the modern professional.
Yeah.
And that shared pain point is exactly why we're looking at such a massive shift on the horizon.
Which brings us to our mission today.
Right. Today we are unpacking an incredible stack of research centered around the future of the CRM in 2026. The core theme running through all of this material isn't just about, bolting a few shiny new artificial intelligence widgets onto your existing software.
No, it's way bigger than that.
Much bigger. We are looking at a fundamental structural evolution. The CRM is transitioning from a passive system of record to an active reasoning system of intelligence.
And that is exactly what we are going to uncover today, how AI is fundamentally transforming go-to-market teams, marketing, sales, and service.
The whole GTM triad.
Right. Because whether you are leading a massive department or you're a rep carrying a quota and just trying to close more deals.
Or just exhausted by the endless mountain of admin work.
Yes. You need to pay attention to this because this shift is going to completely redefine what your daily work looks like by 2026.
Absolutely. But to really understand where we're going, we first have to examine why the current model is buckling under its own weight. The old infrastructure just wasn't built for the way business is done today.
Okay, let's unpack this. Traditionally, CRMs have just been places to log things after the fact.
Yeah, a historical record.
Right. You put in your new contacts, you update a deal status, you record the history of a call you just had, or you log pending support tickets. For the vast majority of GTM teams, the system acts as a mere digital notebook.
Just a notebook.
It doesn't actually help you think. It just remembers what you tell it to remember.
And that digital notebook mentality worked reasonably well decades ago, right? Back when the customer journey was highly predictable and linear.
The old funnel.
Exactly. You'd run an ad, a lead would call you, sales would pitch them, and they'd buy. Straight line. But that is no longer the reality. Today's customer journey is incredibly nonlinear. It's complex.
Oh, for sure.
A prospective buyer might start by reading a highly technical white paper on your site. Then, a week later, they might initiate an informal chat with a sales development rep on LinkedIn.
Then what?
Well, after that, they might jump over to your customer service portal with a technical question about implementation before finally circling back to a totally different enterprise sales rep to expand a pilot contract.
So they're bouncing all over the place across totally different channels and platforms.
Exactly. And if your organization's data is siloed, if marketing has their platform, sales is working out of their own instance, and service has a totally separate ticketing system, the team is flying blind.
They can't see the full picture at all.
They can't. So, what happens? The human members of your GTM team are forced to manually stitch that fragmented story together. They have to play detective, cross-referencing different dashboards just to figure out what the customer actually wants and where they are in their buying journey.
Which is such a massive drain on productivity. Reading through the research, there was a huge aha moment for me regarding this exact problem.
What was it?
Having massive amounts of data is actually utterly useless if that data is not integrated. And crucially, if it's not AI ready, hoarding gigabytes of customer interactions doesn't elevate your team's performance if the system can't automatically make sense of it.
You'd think companies would recognize this, but the reality is that many are still quitting to solve the problem by just buying more software.
Which only creates more silos.
Exactly. This transition to 2026 isn't a feature update. It is a complete reimagining of the CRM as the true business intelligence hub of an organization. But to grasp the magnitude of that, we really have to contrast it with how automation currently functions in most of these platforms.
Right, because we do have automation right now. Everyone listening is familiar with setting up workflows. But the old way, the rule-based CRM runs entirely on rigid if this then that logic.
Very rigid.
For example, you set up a rule that says, if a customer downloads this specific pricing guide, then wait exactly 2 days and send them this exact automated follow-up email. Or, if a deal changes to the closed won status, automatically ping the Slack channel.
And while that certainly reduces some repetitive clicking, it has a severe limitation. It is completely rigid.
Right.
It only works based on the specific parameters that a human being took the time to anticipate and write.
Right.
It cannot adapt on the fly. It cannot interpret the actual underlying intent behind a customer's action, nor can it adjust to a change in context that falls outside of its pre-programmed rules.
It's like a train on a track. It can go incredibly fast, but it can only go exactly where the rails have been laid down in advance. If a tree falls on the tracks, the train just stops.
That's a great analogy. What's fascinating here is how this contrasts with agentic AI, which is the incoming standard for 2026.
Agentic AI.
Yes, agentic AI doesn't just blindly follow a pre-written workflow. It actually possesses the capacity for reasoning. It can take autonomous action based on a broadly defined GTM motion rather than a strict set of rules.
Okay, reasoning is a heavy word when we are talking about a CRM. Break down what that actually means technically. How does a piece of software reason?
It comes down to large language models, or LLMs, and their ability to parse unstructured data. Think about the reality of business communication. It's messy.
Extremely messy.
It's an email thread with 3 different stakeholders where someone says, we might have budget in Q3, but legal needs to review the security compliance first. A traditional rule-based CRM can't do anything with that text.
No, it just logs it as an activity.
Yeah, exactly. But an agentic AI can ingest that unstructured email, apply reasoning, and extract the structured data. It recognizes that the timeline is Q3, the blocker is legal, and the necessary next action is to send a security packet.
Wow.
It interprets intent across multiple, fragmented signals and connects the dots in a way rule-based systems simply cannot.
So we are talking about a fundamental shift in the very nature of the software. We were moving from a reactive model where the system literally just sits there waiting for a specific binary trigger so it can execute a rigid rule to a proactive model.
From reactive to proactive, yes.
The CRM shifts from just reporting what happened in the past to actively recommending what should happen next based on context.
Yes, that is the leap from a system of record to a system of intelligence. And this allows the GTM team to use the CRM as a critical decision-making engine for the future, rather than just a rear-view mirror looking at past performance.
So what does this all mean for the actual people on the ground? Because this all sounds incredible in theory, but you listening might be wondering how this actually changes your Tuesday morning. Let's break down this GTM revolution by looking at the 3 main pillars: marketing, sales, and service.
Let's do it.
How does marketing transform when the CRM can actually think?
Let's look at segmentation first. The traditional approach to marketing has relied heavily on static segmentation. Marketers group customers by rigid criteria, maybe by industry, company size, or a specific past behavior like attending a webinar.
Right.
But we are seeing a distinct shift toward predictive segmentation. This means the system uses a customer's omni-channel behavior to predict what their future needs are going to be, constantly updating their profile in real time. Lifecycle marketing stops being a guessing game and becomes a continuous data-driven adjustment.
And it gets incredibly granular. It's not just about blasting the exact same generic message to everyone in that segment anymore. The AI understands the right channel, the right timing, and the right tone for each individual. But the concept that I found most compelling was journey orchestration.
That's a critical one. How would you describe the difference between traditional workflows and journey orchestration?
Well, currently, marketers have to build these massive labyrinth-like logic trees for their campaigns. It takes weeks to map out.
And they break all the time.
Exactly. But with agentic AI, the system dynamically adjusts the customer's communication path in real time based on their full context. For instance, instead of getting an automated email just because they clicked a link 3 weeks ago, the AI realizes the user is currently highly active on LinkedIn and adjusts the touch point to happen there instead.
Or it recognizes that a user just opened a support ticket because they are frustrated with a bug.
That is a perfect example of the cross-team visibility we were talking about earlier.
Yeah, exactly. The marketing AI sees the open support ticket and autonomously pauses the promotional upgrade now email campaign.
Because it knows that trying to upsell an angry customer is a terrible idea.
Exactly. This prevents what the sources call nurturing fatigue. So instead of a customer being bombarded with irrelevant tone-deaf messages, the AI pivots the strategy, ensuring they're actually primed and ready before passing them off to the sales team.
And that prevention of nurturing fatigue is exactly what saves the sales team, because by the time the lead actually reaches a human rep, they aren't annoyed, they are primed.
Right.
If we connect this to the bigger picture for the sales team, The shift isn't about giving reps more data. In fact, giving them more data is usually the problem. They are drowning in dashboards.
Sales teams need absolute clarity, not volume.
Precisely.
Let's imagine a hypothetical sales rep. We'll call her Sarah. Under the old model, Sarah starts her day by opening her pipeline, clicking into an account, checking LinkedIn, searching her inbox for past threads, and maybe slacking an account manager to see what the client's current status is.
Which takes forever.
She spends 45 minutes just gathering context before she can even make a single call.
Which is soul-crushing administrative work when she should be selling.
Exactly. But with agentic AI stepping in as an intelligent assistant, Sarah's morning looks completely different. Before she even logs on, the AI has prepared the prospect's data using the entire context of the CRM.
Real-time account intelligence.
Yes. The AI surfaces a brief summary. The prospect spent 15 minutes on the enterprise pricing page last night. They just successfully resolved a support ticket regarding API integration, and they recently read our white paper on security.
If a sales rep can see all those signals synthesized in one place, they can build trust instantly. When Sarah gets on the phone, she isn't asking basic discovery questions that the company should already know the answer to.
Right, she's not starting from zero.
She doesn't ask, "So what brings you in today?" She can say, "I see your team has been looking into our API integration and enterprise security features. Let's talk about how we can scale that for you." She skips the interrogation and gets right to the actual value proposition.
And perhaps just as importantly, the agentic AI handles the administrative burden after the call. It updates the pipeline, logs the activities, and maintains the process flow. Automatically. When all of those updates are happening consistently, without relying on a tired human rep to remember to click a drop-down menu and update a deal stage at 5 p.m. on a Friday, the organization's data fidelity skyrockets. And as a direct result, sales forecasting becomes remarkably accurate.
Which any sales leader listening right now knows is the holy grail. Accurate forecasting without having to harass your reps to update their pipelines.
It changes the entire dynamic of the sales floor.
So we've covered marketing and sales. Let's look at the third pillar, service. There is a great analogy for this transition. Right now, customer service teams act a lot like a fire department. A customer opens a ticket, a fire starts, and the service team rushes in with the hoses to put it out.
It is inherently reactive.
But in this 2026 model, the service team becomes the fire inspector. They are preventing the fires from starting in the first place.
That is the essence of predictive service intelligence. The role shifts from simply resolving isolated tickets to predicting intent and removing friction long before the customer ever feels frustrated enough to complain.
Incredible.
The AI is constantly running in the background, analyzing past sentiment in emails, tracking website usage behavior, looking at purchase history, and monitoring product usage telemetry.
And it uses all of that to spot churn risk. The system can detect that a customer is highly likely to cancel or leave way before their contract is actually up for renewal. Maybe their product usage dropped by 40% over the last month, and the tone of their last 2 emails was slightly negative. The AI flags this and prompts a customer success manager to reach out proactively with a customized solution.
Furthermore, when complex cases do arise, agentic AI works alongside human agents to drastically accelerate resolution. Consider a scenario where a customer has an issue that spans a 30-email thread over 3 weeks, involving multiple different support tiers.
Oh, those are the worst.
A new human agent inheriting that ticket would normally spend 20 minutes just reading the history to understand the context. The AI can synthesize that entire thread into a 3-bullet-point summary in seconds, draft a proposed reply based on the company's knowledge base, and automatically route any necessary escalations to the right engineering specialist based on the technical parameters of the problem.
Meaning, the human beings on the service team can stop acting like glorified routers who just pass messages back and forth. Instead, they can focus their energy entirely on high-impact, empathetic conversations that actually require a human touch to solve complex problems. It's brilliant.
It really is.
But here's where it gets really interesting. Because listening to all of this, it sounds like absolute magic. It sounds like a utopian business environment. But the research drops a massive reality check on us.
The catch.
The catch. Everyone wants this magical AI that predicts sales forecasts with perfect accuracy and spots churning customers before they even know they want to leave.
Yeah.
But the sources make one thing crystal clear. AI will completely fail if your underlying data is garbage.
And this is the unsexy reality of the AI revolution that a lot of companies are trying to ignore.
Okay.
An AI model requires clean, consistent, and connected data to function effectively. You'd be amazed at how many organizations try to plug a sophisticated large language model into a messy, outdated database and expect miracles.
Oh, absolutely. I can imagine a company trying to use generative AI to forecast their Q3 revenue, but because the marketing department tags a lead as an MQL, the sales team calls the exact same lead a prospect, and half the custom fields are left blank, the AI gets horribly
It
confused.
has no idea what it's looking at.
Right. It ends up hallucinating a 200% growth projection that simply doesn't exist in reality.
Exactly. The AI can only reason based on the context it is given. If the context is contradictory or incomplete, the reasoning will be flawed. The absolute prerequisite for achieving this 2026 vision is building what is referred to as a unified customer data foundation.
A single source of truth.
Precisely. And achieving that is often more of a cultural challenge than a technical one. You have to convince different departments to stop hoarding their data in separate silos. Organizations must establish consistent nomenclature, standardized life cycles, and a unified pipeline across the entire company.
That's the heavy lifting.
It is. But once you have done the hard work of building that stable, single source of truth, then the AI can actually take over the tedious, ongoing work of data hygiene.
Right. So once the foundation is laid, the AI acts as the janitor for your database. It's constantly working in the background, deduplicating records, fixing minor inconsistencies in data fields, and keeping everything up to date without human intervention.
And when that foundation is rock solid, that's when the AI can step up and do the high-level predictive work we've been talking about.
To ground this in reality, we don't even have to wait until 2026 to see the beginnings of this. There is a concrete example of this architecture emerging right now from our sources with HubSpot Sales Hub and their embedded AI known as Breeze.
Yes, Breeze AI is a perfect example of this transition in action. It's actively reducing the administrative burden on GTM teams today.
Can you give an example?
Sure, it can automatically draft emails for a rep by summarizing the intent of the previous conversation and proposing logical next steps based on the unified data it has gathered from both marketing and previous sales interactions.
And it goes deeper with features like conversation intelligence. This technology listens to sales calls and automatically summarizes them, but it goes far beyond generating a basic, flat transcript.
Right, it performs objection tagging.
Exactly. It uses its reasoning capabilities to identify specifically when and why a prospect pushed back during a call. Maybe they objected to the implementation timeline, or maybe it was a pricing concern.
And it logs actual commitments made during the call directly into the CRM. So if a rep says, "I'll send you that revised enterprise pricing sheet by Thursday afternoon," the system hears it, understands the commitment, and ensures it's tracked as a task in the CRM.
You never have to frantically scribble those things down on a sticky note again. The accuracy of the team's data skyrockets because human error, fatigue, and forgetfulness are entirely removed from the equation.
When you synthesize all of this, the predictive marketing that prevents nurturing fatigue, the AI-guided sales that eliminate blind spots, the proactive service that spots churn before it happens, and the automated data hygiene that keeps the whole engine running, you see the ultimate goals of the 2026 CRM.
Which are?
First, to drastically reduce the friction between different teams by giving everyone the exact same unified context. Second, to drive proactive responses that anticipate customer needs rather than just reacting to them. And third, to unlock human potential.
By freeing your staff from endless administrative tasks, they can dedicate their time to building meaningful, high-value relationships with customers.
Precisely.
And that brings us right back to you listening to this right now. You might be thinking, well, it's not 2026 yet. I've still got a couple of years to figure this out.
Yeah.
But the absolute biggest takeaway for your own career or your own business is that you have to start breaking down those data silos right now, today.
The clock is ticking.
Building that unified foundation takes significant time and cultural alignment. If your data isn't clean, standardized, and unified across your entire organization today, your AI won't have the context it needs to help you tomorrow. You'll be left behind, still treating your CRM like a digital filing cabinet, while your competitors are using theirs as a proactive intelligence engine to win your market share.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, this raises an important question, a provocative thought to leave you with as we wrap up.
I'd love to hear it.
If we project this out, if agentic AI eventually takes over all the data gathering, manages the pipeline administration, handles the intent prediction, and even drafts our standard communications and next steps, what uniquely human skills will become the most valuable premium currency in the business world of 2026 and beyond? When the software does all the knowing and all the analyzing, What will be the true value of the human being in the loop?
Wow, that is a fantastic question to chew on. Empathy, complex problem solving, creative negotiation, or maybe just the sheer art of authentic human connection. It's something we are all going to have to figure out as this technology evolves and strips away the busy work. Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive into the future of CRM and go-to-market teams. We hope it gave you some powerful insights and a clear mandate to take back to your own work. Until next time, keep questioning the old ways of doing things and stay curious.